Well, today is one of the most important days of the hot car baby death case out of Georgia. Remember this one? The first panel of potential jurors is being questioned in Justin Ross Harris's murder trial. He's accused of intentionally leaving his 22-month-old son Cooper to die in a car on June 18, 2014, when temperatures outside were in the 90s. But inside that vehicle right there, much hotter, 120 degrees near the baby's car seat, according to a heat analysis study. Well, now, before getting to the stage of jury selection, potential jurors had to answer questions like these on a questionnaire. Do you watch any legal talk shows? Examples included, but not limited to, Nancy Grace, Ashley Banfield, Dr. Drew, Anderson Cooper, etc. Have you or has a friend or family member ever forgotten and left a child or animal in a car, even if only briefly? And perhaps the most uncomfortable question of all, have you ever looked at a pornographic website? CNN legal analyst and criminal defense attorney Philip Holloway joins me now from Atlanta. He practices law in Cobb County, Georgia, and was a prosecutor assigned to the same judge in this case. Philip, thank you for coming on. So these potential jurors, they have filled out the questionnaire. Now the competency examination begins. But why are these particular questions in the questionnaire relevant in this case?
Well, good afternoon, Pamela. The idea behind this questionnaire is basically to get all of the general questions asked of these literally hundreds of jurors, so that once they're brought into the courtroom and they are being questioned individually, one by one, outside the presence of the rest of the jurors, the reason that it's important to get the general questions out of the way is so that this next process can go so much more quickly. And I think it does streamline the case. But these particular questions, and as you mentioned, even the uncomfortable ones about having looked at internet pornography, are relevant to this case because there's so much information in this case that has to deal with these uncomfortable topics. That being said, I think that one of the most important questions asked on this questionnaire is on page 15, where they basically ask, is there anybody who really wants to be on this jury? Anybody who has a particular interest in being on this jury? Because what they're trying to do, wisely in my view, is to weed out so-called stealth jurors, people who have an agenda, people who want to get on this jury, and people who want to affect the outcome, whether they're seeking an acquittal, whether they're seeking a hung jury, or whether they're seeking a conviction. So weeding out the stealth jurors is very, very important.
Is that a common question in cases like this then?
This is the first time I've ever seen it in a questionnaire. I've heard it asked before during voir dire, or as we say in the South, or voir dire as they say in the North and other parts. I have seen it asked. I've never seen it on a questionnaire, right. But it is very important, and it prevents things like mistrials, and it prevents people who have an agenda when they try to get on the jury.
So Ross Harris's divorce was just finalized last month. Will his ex-wife testify against him? Is she still standing by her ex? Do we have any idea?
Pamela, she is expected to testify for the defense for sure. She may testify for the prosecution as well. We know she's on their witness list. They've indicated that they may or may not call her. I personally suspect that she will testify in both the state's case and the defense case, because I believe that her testimony is going to be necessary to make some of the state's evidence kind of make sense for the timeline and other things, perhaps the authentication of certain items of personal property that were collected from her home, which is, of course, her ex-husband's home at the time.
You have such a unique perspective because you actually worked with the judge in this case. What can you tell us about her?
Well, Judge Staley is, I think, the most senior judge on the bench in Cobb County Superior Court. She has lots of experience trying major cases, high-profile cases, even death penalty cases. I've prosecuted in front of her, and I've defended cases in front of her, and what I can tell you is that she is the ultimate referee. She's not the kind of judge who's going to interject herself into this case. She's going to let the lawyers be lawyers. She's going to let them try their case. She will make the rulings as they come up. She will address objections as they come up, but she will get out of the way and let the lawyers do their work.
All right, Philip Holloway, thank you so much. We'll be right back after this quick break.